So far we saw like different types of rules are existing on our screen, right? Like we need to know which rule should run when. So there are if you see a project, there will be like multiple types of rules. Like we'll be having configuration flows, we'll be having what recommendation rules, constraints, hiding rules, everything we already created. So on coming to the UI, when we trigger the UI, so what rules will run first? So what is the priority, or what is the order of execution? So that's we'll see now. So like what are all the rules we have discussed so far?
Yes,
So,
Karthik.
I'll say, oh, recommendation. Go ahead, Pradeep. Go ahead, Vinod.
Yeah, recommendation, recommended item, hiding rule, constraint rule, and you're saying config flow, it's not a rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some recommendation items something is there, right? Karthik, there's one more that you mentioned. And also something like recommendation flow rule. I mean, can you explain the in general, like what exactly is the difference between configuration rule, configuration item rule, and configuration flow rule? Are they both are same, or like how are they differentiated?
Configuration flow, I understood. Recommendation, I understood from your inputs. Hiding rule, recommended item rule, and what else you guys are saying?
So I think there is one more, right? Recommended items or something else?
Yeah,
Recommendation item.
recommended item, this one. I just wrote in the shortcut.
Okay.
Configuration flow rule, recommended item rule. Third one is recommended item rule. Fourth one is hiding rule, I wrote. So is there anything we discussed?
Constraint. There is one
Yeah,
more, right? Constraint.
yeah, constraint. And that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean that's all I know. I don't know maybe more than that.
Yeah. So like, can anyone guess like what will be the order they will execute?
Order recommendation first, right? In general,
Okay.
recommendation, and then maybe constraint,
Okay.
and then hiding, hopefully. Yeah, recommendation, constraint,
Okay.
hiding, and then that config flow, hopefully, configuration flow. And the last one will be like that recommended item. Because yeah, you're recommending, you're constraining, hiding, and the flow will be there, and then the item. Maybe that's all. Yeah.
Okay. So out of this order, so let's see hiding rule, why it come here. Okay. So hiding
Okay.
rule, what can be done with the help of hiding rule?
Yeah, we can hide the attributes, right? Or we can
Okay.
hide the
So
mode in
yeah, we
general.
can hide or display the attributes, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So on what basis we can hide or display?
It depends on an action, or it depends on a requirement, hopefully. Like let's say that you mentioned, if I remember correctly, maybe take as an address. Like if
Yeah.
already it as an address and you don't
Yeah.
want to target, yeah, that's where I can think of right now.
Yeah. When is that possible? The user should be seeing, right? So whether it should be like we should be providing some checkbox. We should ask him whether your permanent and temporary address are same or not.
Yeah,
He should check yes or no. So basing on that, we can hide.
yeah.
But this will happen only when the user sees the UI, right?
UI, yep. Yeah, exactly.
So in that case, so how can we put hiding before configuration flow?
Oh, so that thing will
What
come
is the
to
use of configuration flow for us?
configuration flow is something that you will show that that page or component, right? Like
Yeah,
in general,
the
that you mentioned
projection of the screen.
start node or something else, so start node, end node, something else. So you want to show the page, right, by default.
Yes,
Configuration flow.
yes. So whatever the screen we are going to present to the customer, we are going to show to the customer, that can be like done with the help of configuration flow. It's the projection of the UI. So
Okay.
whatever we are showing to the user, so it should be in the first. So
Okay.
a new
Yeah.
order will be configuration flow got shifted above, hiding rule came down. Okay.
Mhm.
So like, can someone say why the constraint rule is here?
So constraint is something that you are mandating, right? You are mandating that user needs to enter, let's say, integers or some kind of data types, right? So I think, as per to your scenario, the configuration flow has to go above constraint, right? That's the first thing. Configuration flow, hopefully.
So we are again changing the order. So configuration flow should be shifted above constraint.
Yeah, actually, above that recommendation,
Achha, okay.
I think, because that's the first piece. Yeah. Configuration flow, and then the recommendation, and then the constraint, and then hiding. Yeah, and then the recommended item. Yep.
Okay. So can I ask you still, so why the constraint rule is here? Is it justifying the above two contents or not? Above two like items or not?
Yeah, technically constraints. Yeah, I mean, no. If I think of constraint as an UI, as a UI mechanism, I'll say it's good. But if you want to, either if you want to do some kind of maybe uh, some data check, I don't know. Maybe I'm
Okay.
not good.
Yeah. So the resultant order for now is this one. The first configuration flow, recommended items, constraints, hiding, and recommended item. Sorry, recommendation rule here, and at the last recommended item. Yeah. So this can be justified. I can justify few things because the base of everything will be the UI, right? So without
Yeah,
what is there on the UI, so we can't recommend a new value, we can't hide something basing on our conditions, we can't constrain. So until and unless we see the state, country, continent attributes, we can't constrain them basing on our selection. So like that. So for everything, the base should be the configuration flow. The UI should appear first, then only the rules can trigger. The rest of the rules can trigger. So configuration flow is like correct. uh, then we are talking about recommendations, then we are talking about constraints, okay, then hiding, okay, so then recommended item. So as we already discussed, the resultant of the configuration will be the recommended item rule, which it throws a product to move to the next modules. So for that I can justify the recommended item rule is also fine. Okay, so now I just want to see whether this three are in the proper area or not. So let's see, we have an UI already. So with some attributes are like spread on the screen, we have a UI. Okay. So now on the UI, we'll be having different fields, like for example, country, state, continent, and some end customer details, and from address or to address or shipping details or whatever the date, current date, delivery date, etc. Whatever the details are there. So we'll be showing them. Okay. So we have the fields. We have the fields with some labels and everything. Okay, is there any chance we can show a default value to the attribute? So attribute is nothing but a field, so we'll be having a field label and field value like space, so that should be empty like in general. So before setting some value with the help of recommendation rule, or before user selects that attribute or field and entering some value, is there any chance that attribute may possess some value?
yeah, there might be. Yeah, you can add a value, right? As you mentioned.
Yeah,
Yep.
on the screen, every screen we look in general, like in the websites or somewhere, so some fields will be empty and some fields will be populating by default, right? So
Yep.
there is a chance we can possess like the fields or attributes can possess some default values. Okay, so for example, this is the screen. So this is like attribute field one, you can say. This is field 2. I'll be showing some information by default. Welcome here. So this I'm expecting user to enter his name. So this is the default value. So like this, we may have some default values on the screen. So when an attribute is processing default value on the screen, so basing on the situation, even that value for that field or attribute can be illegal. I'm not saying it's always illegal because it's a default value, but basing on the situations like changing on the screen, whatever the default value got assigned to that attribute can become illegal. So like I can tell you the example of train ticket booking. Okay, so well, we try to book in the app or a website. So generally it proposes the current day, right, at the date. So for the current date, so it will be showing some list of trains or something like that. Okay, so we are we are seeing some a different list of trains, and like there is a requirement like we need to change the train like which is not there in the list. For example, there are 3 trains available for today, so we are seeing the list of those three trains here. Okay, so there is some special train which is like weekly special or something like that. So for that to access, we need to change the date, or we can select the train name, automatically the dates get changed. Or we can select the train name, it will show this current date. For current day, that train is not available or something like that. So whatever the current day suggested by the screen or website at the top, so now it becomes invalid for basing on the situation, because we need a different change, like different train details. So I'm just taking an example. Whatever the default values we set to the attributes, basing on the situation changing on the screen, basing on the requirements or filters changing on the screen, it becomes invalid. There is chance of becoming invalid. So we need to check whether the value is legal or not, valid or not, for the default values also. So after the configuration flow, it might be having some default values. So right after that, we need to trigger. There is a requirement of triggering or a requirement of checking the value is legal or not. That can be happened only with the help of constraint rule. We can check only whether the value is allowable or not, constraint or not, like legal or not, with the help of constraint rule only. So after the configuration flow, the constraint rules will trigger first. So I'm changing the order. Am I clear, like, or am I confusing you guys?
I think I'm good from my side, Karthik. I got your point. Constraint
So I
and
changed
recommend.
it. Yeah, I changed the, I left the configuration flow. I agreed with this. I kept yes here. Recommended items also I'm good. So recommended items and constraint, I changed the order. So I'm saying constraint is first, then I pushed the recommendation and hiding at the last. So now, so we are good. We got a screen, configuration screen, and we came across, like we also discussed, there is a possibility of attributes or fields having default values. So okay, that's fine for the configuration flow. And after that, we need to do a validation check, legality check or something like that. So whether the values so far present on the UI are legal or not. For that, we are asking constraints to trigger next right after the configuration flow. That's fine. So it will say whether any value is there on the screen already, it is legal or not. If it's not legal, it will throw an error. This value is not legal to the field. Or if it's fine, it won't trigger any error. It won't throw any error. That's that we are good with that. So after that, I'm saying recommendation rules to run, like so with the help of recommendation rules or with the help of user, like user enters manually on the UI or something like that. So for the attributes on the present on the screen, there is a chance of getting new values after the constraint rules got triggered. So whatever the screen left after the constraint rules, there is a possibility user may enter new values, or with the help of recommendation rules, we may set some new values. So there is a modification of there is a change of the content on the screen again for the attributes whatever we have. So some change got happened. So with the help of recommendation rule or with the help of user input, so some attributes got changed, got a new values. So what should we do when we get a new values on the screen?
Maybe you can do hiding then. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we can do hidden rule also over there. So based on the constraints, either we can do the hiding or showing, right? And based on that, we can recommend the attributes. Looks like.
Okay, so far we are good with the configuration flow, default values if their constraint rules will trigger. So once it is done, so there is a chance user may enter new values, or there is a chance recommendation rules can set a new values. Okay, we are fine till that. So once the new values got set, so we are thinking like hiding rules can be run. So basing on the whatever the content on the UI, and after that like at the end recommended items will be run. Okay, so I am saying, so when we come across the recommendation rule, as there is a possibility of getting new values, is there any requirement to check whether the new values are legal or not, or we are sure that 100% that whatever the new values either user enter or recommendation rule set will be 100% legal or valid or allowable for that attribute?
Yeah, there might be.
Is it 100% sure, or we need to cross check?
We need to cross check.
Yeah, whenever there is a modification we are not sure, the system whatever the logic in the constraint rules is there, it should check, because it is already some logic is framed at the back end of the system, we are not sure. So after the recommendation rules, so as we are getting a new values getting populated on the screen, we should cross check whether it is legal or not, whether it's valid value for that attribute or not. So I'll say recommendations first and constraints next, a new order. But will this break the previous scenario?
It's a kind of, basically, as per to your scenarios, it depends, right? It depends on that scenario, right?
Yes, yes,
Sometimes
yes.
you may require to go with the recommendation rule first before getting the
Yeah,
constraints. Sometimes,
yeah,
yeah, it may require, yep.
yeah. Are we good with this K column? This K column?
Yes, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And will you agree with this my new L column?
Yeah, there is possibility.
Yeah. So after configuration flow, we are good. Constraint, we are good. Rec rule, we are good. Hiding, we are good. Rec item also we are good. So now there is a possibility according to the previous column we discussed, L is also valid. So we are thinking here the recommendation rule should come, and here the constraint rule should come. So we are both the scenarios are valid when we see them individually, but how to merge these things, but we can't ask the system, right? So this is my requirement, the first flow you need to execute, or this is my requirement, you need to shift to the second flow now. So we can't say instructions to the system, that is not possible. I'm not asking is there any way or not. So we can't ask to execute the respective flow basing on a requirement. So how the system is designed for this is, so whenever it is for the default values, it will trigger constraints first. So after that, it will recommend, it will execute the recommendation rules, or it will allow user to enter manual values. So after that, once the values got reflected, so there is a possibility that some value might be illegal or legal. So we need to do a check after the recommendation rule. So we need constraints after once recommendation rules got triggered. So for that, how the system will trigger is, after constraint rules got triggered for the default values, it will execute recommendations. So as the new values got populated, it will allow constraint rules to trigger again, but for whatever the new values got triggered, it needs to check whether it's a legal value or not. So once the constraint rules got triggered after it, so there is a possibility that it's legal value, it will leave that. If it's an illegal value, it will throw an error. So if it's a legal value, that's fine. What if it is an illegal value and it throws an error? So there is an illegal value on the field, so some error is there. So it is asking the screen, like on the screen, it should be modified. So for that illegal value to modify, we might need the help of recommendation rules again, or we might need the help of user to again. So again, the recommendation rules will run. So once the recommendation rules will run, so again the new values got populated. The constraint rules are required whether to check that again new values are legal or not. Yeah. So this is the thing we need here. Is it clear? Why we need this?
Yes, yeah. The constraint, yeah.
So we need this. We are checking for the default values, whether it's legal or not. Constraints are running. That's good. After that, recommendations will run. New values are coming. So we need to check again the values are legal or not. So again, constraint rules are triggering. New values are coming. If it's legal, that's fine. If it's illegal, again it will throw an error. It will stop the screen. So again, recommendations. So this is a continuous process. But then when this will break? Can any guys like any idea you have?
What
And this
topic?
loop is mandatory.
Come again?
Yeah, this loop is mandatory. We agree with that, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Constraint, yeah.
but when this will stop and will shift to the other sections?
Once those maybe the conditions are good to go, then right, general.
Sorry.
So once we have the constraints are done,
Yeah.
then those loop will be definitely picked off and goes to the
Yeah.
hidden role.
Yeah. So as long as this like loop keeps on continuing, this will stop only. So when the term of when the turn of constraint rules came up, and at that term, if no constraint rules are triggered, so then it will stop that loop.
Actually, I have a
So
question.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Is it possible, based on a constraint, even before the recommendation, we can run the hidden rule, right? Is it possible? That's because we have a constraint. You have a constraint in the backend, and that will trigger you. The one you mentioned, right? That just now the train example. So let's say
Okay.
if you want to show the train on Sunday and not on the
Yeah.
other day. So at
Yeah.
that time, instead of using the recommendation rule, I'll go with the hidden rule, right? Why should I need to go with the recommendation after the
Which
constraint?
rule you are saying? Hiding rule?
Hiding rule, yeah, hiding rule.
No, hiding rules. So okay. So hiding rules. The job of hiding rules is whether to display the particular field or not. Right?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So we can decide. We can make decisions on the like once we get the like apt values on the screen. So once this loop is not didn't get stopped, so we can't say the particular values on the screen are legal for all those values. So until and unless this loop gets stopped, so there is no confirmation that whatever the attributes and values are present on the screen are legal or valid. So that's why they framed. So once the whole finalization of the values got done on the screen, so then only these hiding rules will trigger.
So in that case, Karthik, can I assume that hidden user interaction rule something? Because as we mentioned that hidden or hiding rule is something that will trigger from the user interaction, right? Not automatically. Am I correct?
No, hiding rule will trigger automatically as per this flow. So I didn't like. What's your question?
So basically, I have one thing, Karthik. So we have a constraint, right?
Yes.
And based on the constraint, and I want to hide some values.
Basing on the constraint, you want to hide some values?
Yes. Yeah.
Like no. What is the use of constraint? Constraint is just the job to say whether it's a legal value or not, right?
Exactly. That's true. Yeah. So based on that constraint, I can hide
Okay.
it, right? I can hide the value, right?
No, we can't do that because okay, constant rule is done. So it is saying whether it's legal or not. It's done. So if it's legal, that's fine. As we discussed, this loop will end once the legal is like once the constant stop triggering. So when the constant will stop triggering, when the legal values are came up on the screen, right? So once it is legal, so then we can hide it. So if it's illegal value, we can't ask to hiding rules to run, right? Basing on that.
So in that case, Karthik, so what do you mean by legal rule?
What is?
What do you mean by legal rule? You mentioned legal rule, right? So
No,
what
not
exactly is the rule?
not a legal rule. I'm just saying whether the value on the screen is legal or not, valid or not. That's I'm saying. So that can be decided with the help of constraint rule. If the
Yeah, so
constraint rule got yeah,
yeah, exactly, Karthik. You are right, Karthik. So just take an example right now. So you are saying that the value is valid, right? Technically,
yes,
just
yes,
that. So if it is valid, let's say, Karthik, for example, just take a checkbox example. Okay.
okay,
If we see that the value is valid, which is a true
yeah,
value, right?
yeah,
So based on true value, I want to show something below that thing.
yes,
At that
yes,
time, I'm going to use the hidden rule, right?
yeah. That's what. See here, after configuration flow, if you see this two rules order here, so this we can map with this. So what we are saying now, if it's a legal value, we need to run hiding rules. That's our scenario right now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, in this part, so this will execute, this loop will execute, and when this loop will stop when we find the legal values. So that's what we are saying, right? So when we find the legal value, so once basing on that, we can run a hiding rules here. That's what's happening, right?
Do you mean the constraint rule and the recommendation rule? Those two rules, will work hand to hand, which will
Yes,
help provide the legal value, right? Legal something
yes,
else. But
yes, that loop will keep on repeating until the values get becomes legal on the screen. No constraint errors got triggered until no constraint rules got triggered, so it will run. So once
okay,
we find the legal values, then it will stop executing, and after that it will shift to hiding rule.
okay, okay, got it. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah, basing on the legal values only we need to hide, right? So it will stop once we get the legal values, that loop, then automatically it shifts to hiding rules. So basically, like basing on those legal values, it will hide the attributes or fields.
can we have a small example here, Karthik, to just replicate your scenario that you mentioned? Configuration flow, just take a small configuration flow, something like a train example that you mentioned
Uh,
earlier. Let's say we have a train example, and you mentioned that
yeah,
we want to display some trains, and based on
yeah,
the date, right?
yeah,
You may show some other trains or not. It depends, right? So
yeah,
the very first thing is that the configuration flow will trigger in general, right? That flow will
yeah,
trigger, and the starting node something else. Okay, there
yeah.
constraint rule. Can I assume? So in that scenario, what exactly is the constraint rule? Can you just give me one example of this scenario?
Um, yeah. Let me try. We need to buy a product. Okay.
Okay.
So we need to buy a product. So that product is having like different like attributes or fields or features or filters for some product. So it is having different colors, it is having different versions, it is having different service dates. Okay.
Okay.
So user is new to the screen, he is not aware of any relation between these fields. Okay.
Okay.
So user will select some product. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is fine. From the drop down he selects some product, some X product. Okay. So it is fine. Now the color is the next field he needs to enter. So he will say from the drop down he will select red. Okay. So now it is fine. So like what if we have these two in the next section? So we discussed, right, we will be organizing some different types of sections, right? Like to manage our attributes at the long run. So we will be having this as next screen. Okay. So for this product and for this color red we have, so it is available. So now when we are talking about the version, so user will select his required version, some version like 0.1 or something like that. Okay. So now he is need to select end service date, whatever the product or the service he is going to buy. So he want it to be serviced till next 5 years. Okay. So
Okay.
he will ask us, I want this service for next 5 years. Okay. This is the new value recently we got. Okay.
Yeah.
So what if we are not providing service for 5 years for that product? So
Okay.
now this product will become invalid, right? So once the default constraint rules got triggered, everything is fine. So now we are allowing user to enter some values. Now this is the scenario where either recommendations or the scenario of user entering new values should happen. So in that scenario, for example, we automatically set the red color automatically with the help of rule. So whenever some user selects product X, so we are selecting, so we are setting red color with the help of recommendation rule, because we only have that color for that product. So let's
Yeah.
assume we are not allowing user to select, and we automatically set red color with the help of recommendation rule. That's fine. So now we are allowing user to select version of his choice. So from the drop down, he selects version 0.1. That's fine. Now we are asking user to enter how many days it needs to be serviced. He needs service for the product. So now he entered 5 years. So what if according to our statistics, so we can't provide service 5 years for that product. So for this value, it's a new value. So now it becomes invalid. Either we need to tell user this product is invalid for the required service, or either this service is invalid for the selected product, right?
Yeah.
So user, we showed the message to the user. So he compromises on the service date, he will tell. So the constraint rules got triggered now, right? Okay. So for that constraint rules, we are saying it is invalid service date. That's fine. So user enters 3 years now. Okay. So 3 years is fine. So it is legal value now. So what we need to tell to the user? So now the constraint rules got stopped, that everything is fine. So basing on this all things, we need to tell him the price, right? So you are taking this product, you are needing this color, this version you are choosing, and we are providing the requested service that you asked. So we need to tell him the cost of the service. So in the next section, we are having cost, what he needs to pay. Okay. So this cost, we are we need to set some value. So I'm saying 100 rupees for it. So how can this be possible? So this user can't enter, right? So we need to set it basing on the above filters or above inputs. So here there is a requirement of recommendation rules to run it again. So here if you observe in this small scenario, so user selected product with the help of recommendation rules. We helped him to set red color because that is the only color we have, and we are allowing here recommendation rules got triggered. And earlier I said constraint rules will be triggered at the backend to check whether the UI is having proper values or not. Okay, constraint rules is done. So user selected some product, manual entry, recommendation rules came across because we are having only one color, so recommendation rules got triggered. Now we allowed user to enter a value on the UI, a version, and year on the service date, date attribute. So he selected some date. So this is fine, legal value. So we didn't trigger any constraint. So this is a new value. In the previous state, it is 5 years. We don't have service. So constraint rules got triggered again. So we asked user to change it. He changed it to 3 years. So constraint rules got satisfied. So no errors got triggered. Now, basing on this, again, we are selecting cost. So we are recommending cost because it is our choice, right? We can't ask user to enter. So a new recommendation rule will trigger to set the cost. So that is fine. And what if there are further fields? So like he needs some other requirements for this product. Like for example, we suggested the 100 rupees cost. Now he can ask us to, like, I'm trying to relate some scenario. Okay. So now we are asking him to, like, choose the payment type. So whether he wants to pay single term, single like pay, or he needs to pay that amount like monthly, or he needs to pay half yearly, or annually, or single pay. So this is the next scenario. Okay. So we suggested a cost. We are asking him to choose what type of payment mode he wants. So now these are the fields we have. So in the single pay, he can select like whatever the things he have. So treat this as a single attribute. Okay.
Okay.
So treat this as a single attribute. From the drop down, he will select whatever the things he has. So what if he chooses monthly or half yearly, annually? There is an option to choose anything. So for this product, so we don't, we will only accept single payments. Like it should be a single payment. Like he should give the whole amount at the single time, and he needs to move forward. So from this drop down, he may select single pay. That's fine. So this product we will sell only in the single payment cost. So what if he selects annually or half yearly or monthly? So single pay is the legal value. So what if he selects monthly? So it's just a 100 rupees product. He is asking us to do the payment of monthly mode, which will extend to 1 year. So that 100 rupees will be like provided to us like throughout the 12 months, like split value like of 100 by 12, right? So we are not ready with that. So now we should tell user, so for this product, monthly payment is not legal. So only when we won't say anything when he selects single pay, we will raise a constraint when user wants to select a monthly pay for this, because it is not acceptable from our end. We can't accept monthly payments for that. So then we need to trigger a constraint rule. We should say, for this product, we can't provide a monthly payment, sir. We need to we can only provide single payment mode option for this. Am I like clear? Like, am I confusing you?
I think I got something.
Like ultimately what I'm trying to say is we'll be having different type of sections. So we will be getting new values as long as we have new fields in the next screens, right? So we are there is a chance of getting new values updated every time, every next stage. So for that, as long as the recommendation rules are setting or UI is working, like we are allowing user to enter new values, so we always need constraints. So here the scenario is good. So far everything is done. So the recommendation rules, whenever it's needed, they got triggered. Sorry, constant rules, whenever it's needed, they got triggered. But we keep on moving forward, right? So as long as the new values got setting, so we should ask the constant rules run multiple times. So it is fine here. So basing on the constraints, it's clear recommendation rules got set. We are hiding the required attributes. But moving forward with the flow, there will be new attributes, new fields again. So we need to organize them also. We need to check them also. So like that. So when we are looking at the screen, so we can't tell all the like 100 constant rules are there on the product will run at a time. Basing on the attribute we are working on, the value it got modified. So for that, whatever the constant rules are required, it will run. For that, whatever the recommendation rules are there, it will run. Let me tell you one more line again to clarify. Like, let me make sure that I'm clear. So this is the screen, first screen, right? So what if the constant rules scenario got completed? It won't run forever. Constant rules got triggered, recommendation rules got triggered, all this flow is completed. So when we go to the next screen, so there are some more attributes. There is a chance of illegal value again. So user might enter something, or recommendation rule might set something based on a new modification. So then also we should check the constraint rules, right? So this flow will happen as long as the new values, like new modifications, come to the screen. Am I clear?
Yes, Karthik. Yes, yes, yes. So now I can relate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because this is never-ending flow, right? Only
Yeah.
when the modifications on the screen get stopped, then we can stop the flow.
So technically, as long as
User
the
keep on entering
modifications
new
are
values,
taking
we can't
place,
stop it. Sorry.
so as long as those modifications or interactions are taking place,
Yes,
those two things will
yes,
work hand to hand, right? That
yes. That
uh,
flow will run. Yeah,
recommendation, right?
yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And as this is a never-ending flow, configuration flow, where this is the right configuration flow, blindly will run at the beginning. As this is a never-ending flow, these three will execute basing on the new modifications happen. At the end, like finally, once the modifications are done, so then again this recommendation rules will run. Recommended item rules will run. Sorry. So this is the beginning for sure. This is the ending for sure. This three will execute as long as the modifications keep on happening.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes, Karthik. Yes, yes. So,
Okay.
Karthik, like if there is any interaction is taking place, I can assume that those two things, those two rules will work hand to hand, right? I mean, the
Yes.
constraint, recommendation,
Yes.
but hiding rule is separate altogether.
Yeah.
Like that.
When the interaction is happening for the particular attribute, we are triggering a constraint rule for the modification. We are checking whether it's legal or not. So, for example, we have a service, okay, provided
Okay.
to only particular age. We don't tell to the user, but we will ask only user to enter age. Okay, this is some X service. We can only provide user of age like 25 to 30 years of age span. So this is the logic we have. So user
Okay.
will enter, some user logs in, he will enter 18. We will say this is an illegal value. Okay. So
Okay.
user, it won't work for him. So what if he tries to pretend of different age? So he will say, we will still give chance to him to change the age. So like I'm 23 years old, I want to need this service. So we'll still say it's illegal value. So this keeps on changing, right? So basing on the new values, like until user gets some proper value, so we can't uh, settle the flow, like whatever the recommendations or constraints are there, so we can't settle them. So I might took the wrong example, because when there is a particular age in your mind, so you guys may ask, why don't you show the particular age in the error message? Hello, you are entering the wrong message. So you should enter, if you are allowed to this service only if you are between 25 to 30 years. We can directly show this, right? So instead of repeating this loop, that's true. So we'll show the error message respectively. 25 to 30 is the valid age. Please enter the respective age. We'll show the message. So user enters the proper value. That's fine. So what if there are something like phone number fields or something like that? So phone numbers across the globe. So we'll be having different formats, right? So some will allow plus symbol, some will allow dot symbol, some will allow space symbol. So like that, we are not sure what country the user is from. So he might be entering his country format as per that. So there also, like he may enter space or something like that. So we are the users only, we can accept like some particular formats. So we are not sure of all the global formats. So this site will accept only some precise formats. So then we may need to like ask user, so this is not legal format for us, you need to try different format. Like that, there will be different situations, we can't ask user directly this is required. So in such cases, this loop will help even for a particular attribute. As we discussed earlier, as the flow extending, we may get some like new values. So we can that rules will trigger accordingly. But if it's we look at the single attribute, there are some situations we can't expect user to enter this is the required format, because for that situation there will be having different acceptable formats. So in that situation also, this loop will run. This is not a valid value, you need to enter some other thing. This is not a valid value, you need to enter some other thing, like that. So this is how like I can relate. So this, now I'm not saying this happens for every single attribute, but there will be some awkward or strange attributes on the fields. Fields are there on the screen. We can't expect this is what I expected. So in that for single attribute situation also, this may help us. This repetition of constraint and recommendations.
Okay.
I hope
Okay.
I'm clear. I'm still confusing. If I'm still confusing, you can ask me.
No, I think on my side, Karthik, I can say that I can understand the first and last one, the constraint, the recommendation rule, and the hidden rule. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying to correlate each of them. Right? I think as per to the user interaction, the very first rule is the constraint rule, right, which will trigger.
yeah,
First.
yeah,
Based
yeah,
on it will recommend it, and then the hidden rule will take into place in case.
yeah, yeah. So we'll be working on this different tasks, right? So you will be having different screens in like future. So where you work on exercises, so then you will understand. So once you cleared some constraints, you will move forward and you will enter new values. So then there will be a requirement for the constraint rules will trigger. So once you get on the hands-on experience, then you will understand. So I cleared requirements, new values got came. So there is no need to constraint rules to settle down because I'm getting new values. So there is a requirement again. You will need that constraint rule to run and validate that new values again. So once you get on hands-on experience on some sample tasks, so then you will understand. Yeah, here also constraint is triggered, even though it is settled earlier. So then you will understand why the requirement is built like that, like why the flow is built like that.
Okay.
Yeah, am I good with this section, or it's sleepy, or it's confusing, or something like that?
I think we can end the session, Karthik. Basically,
This is completely like theoretical thing. So whatever the flow required precedents we understood. So this I can only explain, like I can't show you. So once we do some exercises, then we can understand. So is the when which role is required when like at what time. And only we are done with the rule precedents now. So there is one more area of this rules. So once we are start practicing on them, then I'll tell you about this order of rule execution. So there is some other order behind beyond this whatever we saw. So we talked about only constraint rules, recommendation rules, hiding rules will run. But what if there are 100 constraint rules here? So which constraint rule should run first? Which constraint rule should run second, or which should run in the like at the like transition nodes, or the middle like scenarios, like the scenarios which are happening or undergoing scenarios. So what should run? So according to the which situation, what rule should run, we need to know. Even if it's a recommendation area, recommendation rule scope got came. So even that in the scope, so there might be some 100 recommendation rules or 1000 recommendation rules. So then also we should organize which recommendation rule should run. So similarly hiding rules. So like that. So that we'll see in the next session. So which out of which recommendation rule out of whole recommendation rules, or which constraint rule out of whole constraint rules should run. So that we'll see in the next session.
okay.
So that is related to this order of rule execution. Are they good?
Yes, Karthik, I think so. Yeah. So
Yeah,
far, good.
yes, Karthik, I think we're good so far.
Okay, okay. So like I want you to try that exercise if possible. So whatever that 3 tasks I gave, so you'll like get habituated to the rules, like rule editor, the logic, BML logic. So if it's like anything possible with the sample values, so try with that. If it's not possible with the sample values, then go with the advanced BML sorry, function.
Okay, Karthik, we'll try and let you know if you have any questions.
Okay, so like I'm good for the day.